All right, what's up, YouTube? Welcome back for another video. So we talking about heated moments. Allen Iverson. He had a lot of heated moments because Iverson did not back down from nobody. And by him being only 6 foot tall, he got banged up a little bit. Pause. In the NBA by getting driving into the lane for layups or dunks, whatever, and getting knocked out the air and stuff. And he ended up getting back up, but enough of me trying to narrate Iverson's career. We're gonna get right to the video. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit the like button, all the good stuff, and let's get it. He even got it to with Kobe, the Black Mamba. Oh, Dennis Rodman.
With the first pick in the 1996 NBA draft, 76ers select
Allen
Iverson.
once fought a referee? Well, kind of. You're gonna have to watch until the end of the video to see what exactly that's all about.
I know he didn't just fight a
He's
referee.
arguably the greatest Philadelphia 76er of all time.
Yep.
Allen Iverson was a staple for the NBA during his time in the league. He was a ridiculously talented scorer and passer and has handles that are hard to match to this day. However, despite his insane talent, he had quite a few fights. In today's video,
And I think Iverson had like a 44-inch vertical, maybe just a 40, but it was pretty high for his height. He can get up there. Even in college, even in high school, he was banging it. Pause.
we'll be going over a few of his best fights throughout his career, including one that has him fighting with a referee. So stick around to find out how
Was
that
it really fighting or was it just arguing? I
Kicking
gotta
off
see
our
this one.
list, we have the fight between Allen Iverson and Sasha Vujacic back in 2006.
Oh, he stayed getting into somebody.
Iverson
That guy
found
was
himself on a fast break with
pissed.
two Los Angeles Lakers players running beside him trying to stop him. It was early on in the fourth quarter.
I remember
and the
this.
Philadelphia 76ers were only down by 5 points at the time, so 2 easy points off a fast break would have definitely helped. Iverson went up for a layup and was met by both Lakers defenders, with one of them grabbing his arm
Dang,
as
he
he
tried to
went up,
snatch him.
ripping the ball out of his hands while he was falling to the ground. That man happened to be Sasha Vujacic, who was whistled for a foul on the play, but that didn't deter Iverson from unleashing some frustration towards
Well,
him.
Iverson was
He
mad.
sprung up and literally charged Vujacic as if he was going to tackle him.
He was.
Slammed into him, but it didn't look like Sasha was affected by the hit whatsoever, as he slowly
He
took a
backed
step
up a little bit.
backwards.
Yeah, he did.
Iverson had to then be restrained by another teammate while Vujacic continued to walk after him, yelling and shouting at him. Allen let some words fly of his own, but was again restrained and held back by none other than Kyle Korver. Philly knew just how important he was to their team at the time, and didn't need him getting ejected over something stupid. Meanwhile,
Was this the
Sasha
year
was
they
a
made
very
it to the
memorable
finals?
player in Lakers history, and it would have been a win for him and his team if he was able to get Allen off the floor. It seems like Dennis Rodman makes an appearance in pretty much any video about fighting, but
This
here
guy.
he is once again coming in at number 5. Iverson was walking back down to play defense after a failed offensive possession, and he looked frustrated. Rodman must have realized that because he ran down and gave Iverson just a little bump before looking right at him and clapping.
He pat him on
Iverson
the
kept
ass.
his composure for the time being, but later in the game, the two went at it once again. The two players both jumped up for a rebound, and Rodman accidentally elbowed and pushed Iverson in the back. Rodman didn't think much of it, but Iverson charged him and bumped into his back. Iverson had gotten a hold of Rodman's jersey and refused to let go despite being dragged away.
Man.
He was just holding on for dear life.
Iverson didn't play,
Rodman was
boy.
back up against the first few rows of fans and was literally just trying to get Allen off of him. Players were taking turns holding and pushing Rodman back, but when you look at the clip, he really didn't care at all. He was sort of smiling towards
He
the end
never
of the
cared.
clip.
That dude
He wasn't
crazy.
looking all angry, unlike Iverson when he was pulled away. This next
Iverson
altercation
don't play.
never turned physical, but there was certainly a lot of trash talking.
Yeah, this is the NBA Finals right
which is
here.
why it lands
2001, I
number 4.
think.
It was right
Oh.
after a timeout, and players were beginning to return to the floor to prepare for the next possession. Allen Iverson and Kobe Bryant had started chatting while walking back onto the floor, and it looked like the usual trash talk. However, the talking wasn't stopping at all, and they were following each other across the court. Soon enough, everybody started to get the idea that they were arguing over something, and you could see it get a little more
Yeah.
I've been getting paid $1,000 a month, if not more, just from this app on my phone. And I don't know if you can see this, but
confrontational as they went on. These are both very mentally tough guys,
Oh yeah,
so they didn't let it get to them
two of
enough
the
to where
toughest.
they threw punches or started swinging for the fences. Instead, they just continued to trash talk and argue until a Lakers teammate ran in to push them both away. After that, you can see other referees and fellow players jump in between to get the two superstars back to their own side to avoid losing them to a
I
technical
think Iverson
foul
didn't back down from
rejection.
nobody.
Neither player seemed thrilled to be broken up by the refs, and Iverson was actually arguing with them too because he felt they were just trash talking, which is likely the reason why they kept on going right after everybody left them alone again. Here we have Iverson going at it with a referee at number 3.
Ooh,
Though, if you ever watched him
that
play
cross.
basketball, you'd know this happens quite often. This was one of the only times he actually had to be held back from an official, though. The Philadelphia 76ers were playing the New York Knicks, and it was a pretty close game. The momentum was starting to shift in favor of the Knicks, so Philly decided to call a timeout right when they tried double-teaming Iverson when he crossed half court. Allen threw the basketball pretty low to the ground over at an official before turning to walk back to his bench, and was shockingly whistled for a technical foul because of it. When he first
Damn.
heard that he was hit with a tech for simply throwing the basketball over to a referee, he just lost his mind. He turned around screaming and yelling, "How?" while pushing teammates out of the way. Eventually, somebody actually had to grab his arms because he was charging over to the ref who blew the whistle on him.
Yeah, they would have
It
got
took
him.
about
He would have got
4
ejected
teammates to
then.
get him pulled back, and he eventually just started walking back to his own bench. Later in the contest, when the game started to wind down, the same situation occurred, where a timeout was called when Iverson was holding the basketball. He
Oh.
gingerly ran over to the ref who'd called a technical foul on him earlier and faked handing him the ball, only to run over to a different referee and
Damn.
gently give the ball to him.
That's
It was
wild.
perfect and an absolutely hilarious way to get back at the guy without actually doing anything that would get him ejected. Be sure to stick around until the
Surprised
end
they
of the
didn't-
video to hear about the
didn't
time
put him out.
Iverson was almost sent to jail over a fight. You don't want to miss out on that story. Coming in at number 2, we have the battle between Eddie House and AI. Eddie
Oh,
House was
I think I remember
trying
this
to
one.
get under Allen Iverson's skin on this one. Iverson played an inbound pass beautifully right in the middle of a game, as Glenn Rice got a little bit lazy and tossed
Oh.
the ball right in front of him. Iverson saw that he wanted
Yeah,
to
the
inbound
cheap shot.
quickly, so he jumped the pass and went up for a free layup. Eddie House was the only guy prepared to even defend against it, so he jumped and accidentally hit Iverson on the head with both of his arms.
Well, he didn't have to go that
Allen was
wild with
already
the
hit in
swing.
head earlier in that game, so this one was the last straw for him. He instantly went to charge House, but was held back by 3 teammates who were in the area. They were pulling him back and doing all that they could, but Iverson looked determined to at least get a punch or push off on House.
It's
The
something.
replay was shown to see what actually went down between them. You could see House put his hand on Allen's chest while he was trying to charge at him so they could keep their distance. Iverson responded by pointing his finger right in the face of House, who pushed his arms away and had to be pushed away from Iverson as well. For the next few minutes, while the referees tried to sort everything out, Iverson was seen just holding onto his head in pain, while House was just like, "Hey, it wasn't intentional." This final fight was probably his worst, which is why it's ranked number 1 on our list.
How bad
And
was
it
it?
didn't come when he was in the NBA. As a matter of fact, it came when he was just a high school kid.
Oh, let's
Iverson
talk
was
about
able
this.
to absolutely stun all of the scouts who came to see him in
Hey.
Indianapolis, with USA Today claiming that he was the jewel of the upcoming draft class already. Every single college in the country basically wanted to get their hands on Iverson and lock him onto their roster, but things got a little confusing a few days later. Iverson was hit with 3 felony charges over a fight he had with random strangers at a bowling alley. One employee said that he saw Allen strike a woman over the head with a chair. Yeah, you heard that correctly. The man then walked over to intervene in the altercation, and Iverson struck him with the chair too, completely.
See, I didn't hear about that part. I heard about the part about him hitting the female with a chair, but it's hard to tell in this video. But they didn't have proof. They was saying that a couple of his friends actually got him out of there to keep him out of trouble, but they still, pinpointed it was Iverson involved that actually started or whatever they said, and still arrested him. But to say that he hit another person with a chair, I don't remember that part. I don't know.
breaking his glasses in the process. When he was later asked about what set him off, he claimed that people called him racial slurs for quite a while before he decided to take action against them. The fight ended up turning into quite a big brawl as other people.
Hold on. This doesn't sound like the same story I heard before. I don't know if you're making this up or you heard different or what. I don't know.
People were jumping in and beating each other up. Iverson pled guilty to all 3 charges and was very lucky that he didn't go to jail for years and years. 3 other people were charged in the fight as well, but their trial was a little later than Iverson. It was a huge deal at the time because, as I mentioned earlier, everybody in the country wanted Iverson to play for their school, and NBA scouts were already taking notice of this young high school kid. To put his height into perspective a little bit, Iverson was averaging 31.6 points per game during high school while simultaneously playing football for his school.
Oh yeah, play football too.
21 touchdowns and passing for 14 more. He was considered one of the best athletes of his generation, which is why this felony charge was such a massive deal. Luckily, everything was able to work out, and we eventually got to see him play and star in the NBA.
Yep.
But man, could this fight have been 10 times worse. That does it for this video, guys. Thank you all so much for watching.
Yeah, I think he might have added a little your own seasoning to that story of the alleged Iverson fight in the bowling alley. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you stay tuned for more videos and more recommendations of videos I can react to. Comment down below. And I will do. Oh, I got my Twitter set back up. I got a new Twitter. It is. I'll put on the screen. I think it's called It's King Smooth, but I'll put it on the screen or whatever. And yeah, make sure you guys check out my Twitter page, and you can interact with me on that, and give me recommendations for videos and stuff. I'll just chit chat about basketball and music and stuff. We can do that. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. I said that already, but well, I'm out. Peace.